Hi everyone. Today I want to share my thoughts about the latest novel by Haruki Murakami, The City and Its Uncertain Walls. As someone who has been a devoted fan of Murakami's work for over 25 years, I couldn't wait to dive into his latest creation and reflect on how it connects to his previous novels and even to my own journey as a reader. I started reading Haruki Murakami's novels back in 1998. My first experience with his writing was Norwegian Wood, and it left such a deep impression on me. I was a teenager then, and the way Murakami captured the fragile emotions of youth, love, and loss felt incredibly personal. And it was as if he was writing directly to me. Over the years, I've read nearly all his works, from Kafka's Shaw to 1Q84, Hard-Boiled Wonderland and the End of the World, and so many others like Dance Dance Dance. But as I've grown older, I've noticed that something interesting. My connection to Murakami's novels has changed. Back in my 20s, his surreal stories and dreamlike worlds felt groundbreaking, like nothing else I'd ever read. But as I've matured, I've started to see patterns in his stories. It's made me wonder, is it Murakami who has changed, or is it me as a reader? Maybe it's a bit of both. Now let's talk about his new book, The City and Its Uncertain Walls. This is Murakami's first full-length novel in quite some time, and it's an extension of a short story he wrote many years ago. In fact, fans of Hard-Boiled Wonderland and the End of the World will notice some striking similarity in the scenes, characters, and even the settings. Once you start reading, you will see that the city, the tall walls, the shadows, and the unicorns all echo his earlier works. At first I thought, why Murakami revisiting the same scenes and stories again and again? It felt like he was retracing his steps rather than creating something entirely new. But the more I read, the more I realized that this wasn't just a repetition of old ideas. It was Murakami's trying to deepen and expand the imaginary world he's been building throughout his career. What really stood out to me about this work, though, was the age of the main character. It's not a significant different, but means much to me. For the first time in Murakami's novels, the protagonist is over 40 years old. This is a big shift because in most of his previous works, the central characters were younger, often in their 20s or early 30s. Like in Kafka's Shaw or Norwegian Wood, the protagonists are both teenagers. But this time, we see a hero who is older, more reflective, and grappling with different kinds of questions about life and love. The change resonated me deeply because I've been reading Murakami since I was a teenager myself, and now I'm over 40 years old. It felt like the character had grown up alongside me, and that made the story feel even more personal. It's as if Murakami is now writing for readers like me, those of us who have been with him for decades and are now at a new stage in life. That being said, there are some aspects of the story that feel familiar, maybe too familiar. The love story, for example, is simple at the likes of complexity of some of his early works. And while the ending is left open to the reader's imagination, it's a hallmark of Murakami's style. It felt less satisfying this time. In his early novels, the open endings felt like a mystery you wanted to solve, but here It feels more like the story itself is incomplete. I also noticed that the imaginary world Murakami creates in his book is brighter and more hopeful than some of his earlier works, but at the same time, it feels less grounded. You can see there's a sense that Murakami is more focused on expressing his own ideas and emotions rather than crafting a story that fully engages the readers. It's as if he's writing for himself rather than for his audience. I know that some readers might criticize his novel for being too similar to his early works or for revisiting old themes, and I can understand that perspective. After all, it's not common for a writer to tell the same story twice in different books. But as a longtime fan, I see this as Murakami's attempt to complete the imaginary world he's been building for decades. It's like he's adding one final piece to a puzzle he's spent his entire career creating. And do I think this is Murakami's best work? Of course not. It's not. It doesn't have the same magic as Norwegian Wood or the same boldness as 1Q84, but it does feel like a deeply personal book, a reflection of where Murakami is in his own life and career. And for me, as someone who's grown alongside his works, it still holds a special place, even if it's not perfect. So, if you are a fan of Haruki Murakami, I encourage you to read The City and Its Unreal Walls. It may not be his most groundbreaking work, but it offers a unique glimpse into the mind of an author who has spent decades building a literary universe like no others. And for those of you who are new to Murakami, this book might give you a taste of his signature style, though I'd still recommend starting with Norwegian Wood or Kafka's Shaw to truly experience the magic of his storytelling. Thank you so much for listening to my thoughts on Haruki Murakami's new book. What do you think about this work? Have you ever read this? Have you read this book yet? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoy this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with other Murakami's fans. Thank you, and have a happy reading.